Welcome back, everyone. Oz here, and today I've got some r/OhNoConsequences. As per usual, I'll be reading you the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Cross-posted from r/Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for kicking my mother out for throwing away my son's baking things because she believes that baking is only for girls? My 14-year-old son loves to bake, and he's really good at it too. He starts with simple things like cookies, but now he can bake just about anything from bread to pies, even cakes. Sometimes friends and people we know will ask him to bake them something, and he'll charge them a small fee. My mother has always hated the fact that my son loves baking. She doesn't understand what kind of boy enjoys doing things that are meant for girls. Ironically, his younger sister hates baking. I tried to explain to my mother that there's nothing wrong with my son's love for baking and that she's being sexist, but my mother is stubborn and always makes sure to mention just how much she doesn't approve of it every chance she gets. She was visiting us for a few days, and I came home from work to find my son distraught. When I asked him what's going on, he told me that he came back from a friend's house only to find that his baking things had disappeared. When he asked his grandma, she just said that now he can find a new appropriate hobby. He has a specific kitchen cabinet where he stores all his baking things, and sure enough, it was empty. They weren't in the trash either. I asked my mother what she did with my son's things, and she proudly told me that she got rid of them because I was clearly not going to do anything about it, and that I was a bad father for allowing it to go on as long as I did. These were approximately $200 worth of items collected over a period of time. Hand mixer, scale, measuring things, pans, etc. I told her that the only thing that I've allowed to go on way too long is the constant disrespect for my son, and that she needs to apologize to him and either bring back his things right now or replace them. She stubbornly said that she's not going to do that, and I told her that first thing in the morning she needs to leave, and she's not welcome back here or around my children until she learns to respect their choices. She huffed and puffed all night and left in the morning. She was originally supposed to leave on Sunday, the day after my son's birthday. She even took the gift she had bought him and left with it. My stepdad called me to let me know what a piece of shit he thinks I am for treating my mother this way and kicking her out like some random stranger. I told him that she did this to herself and hung up. I mean, honestly, any grandma who decides to empty out and destroy $200 worth of their grandchild's hobby equipment is a complete stranger in the household, because that's not family. Massive win on the father's part for being such an awesome parent, and firmly drawing the line with their mother on the fact of, you can't just throw my kid's shit away because you think it's not manly or girly. It's not her choice to make. And now she gets to live with the consequences of being so goddamn disrespectful to her grandchild. It's just what you get. Cross-posted from r/relationship advice. I, 27 male, lost a friend, 27 male, because I didn't tell him his girlfriend was cheating. Is there any way to save our friendship? This person, who we can call Rob, has been my childhood best friend. Our families know each other, and we're closer to family than friends. A few years ago, he started dating this woman, Ashley, and they hit it off and were now engaged. Now, throughout that time, I developed a friendship with her as well. It was great until about a year ago, I found out she was cheating on Rob. I can give more details if needed. When I found out, I confronted her and she admitted it. She told me in confidence that she loves Rob, but she always had struggles with fidelity because to her, it was just sex. She admitted she was being selfish. I was conflicted because she was wrong, but did want to tell him about our private conversations. I always did let her know that what she was doing was wrong and scolded her anytime she would tell me about some guy she's hooking up with. Eventually, Rob finds out and somehow finds out that I knew. He has, of course, called off the wedding, but he's completely blocked me. And that said, now I'm here. I tried to explain my position, how I had dual loyalties, but he feels that I didn't care she was betraying him, but I did. Now I'm here and have zero idea how to save our friendship. Sorry dude, but you put someone who he was dating ahead of someone who you referred to as basically being family. Like, there is no taking that back. You prioritized her comfort in being non-monogamous and cheating on her fiancé than you did someone who you quite literally consider to be your brother. We had a best of post fairly recently where someone found out their coworker was spreading lies about their boyfriend, stating that he was cheating on OP with her. And OP in that story cut friendships off because they felt like they couldn't trust those who knew about those rumors but said nothing. Even the ones who knew the rumors were most likely false. Like if you find out that one of your closest friends knew that your significant other was cheating on you and said nothing and opted to keep their secret, it really does boil down to whose fucking side are you on? Me, one of your closest friends, or the girl who's cheating on me? Because even if you want to make the argument, oh, well, I'm just staying neutral. The thing is, in a situation where there is a perpetrator who is actively committing wrong, by staying neutral, you are picking a side. Staying neutral only works if both sides are at fault or both sides are aggressors. If only one side is the perpetrator, then there is no staying neutral. And I know that OP in this story didn't exactly say that he wanted to stay neutral, but he did make the argument of, I tried to explain my position and how I had dual loyalties. That does most certainly come off as, I'm trying to stay neutral because I have dual loyalties. So yeah, dude, this is the consequence of that. You expressed that you had dual loyalties to your childhood best friend and his fiancé. The fiancé wanted you to keep her secret, and you chose to be loyal to her and keep that secret. The moment you chose not to spill her secret, you chose her side. There is no being loyal to your friend at that point. You exclusively chose to be loyal to her by not telling your friend. My boyfriend tested me by faking an affair, then got mad I didn't forgive him. I, 26 female, have been with my boyfriend, 28 male, for almost 3 years. We've had our ups and downs, but always came back stronger, until last week. Out of nowhere, he left his phone face up on the couch while he went to shower. A message popped up from a girl I don't know. Quote, "Last night was amazing. Hope your girlfriend didn't notice. Kissy emoji." End quote. I froze. My heart dropped. I felt like throwing up. I didn't say anything until he came out. Then I handed him the phone and said, "You want to explain this?" He laughed. Then he said it was a test. A test. He had his cousin text him pretending to be a side chick to see how I'd react if I thought he cheated. His reasoning, if you really trust me, you wouldn't jump to conclusions. I lost it. I told him that was emotional manipulation, not a trust experiment. He got defensive and said I failed the test by not giving him the benefit of the doubt. He's been sulking ever since and even said maybe we're not compatible long term. If I can't understand his sense of humor. My gut says this is insane, but he's so convinced he did nothing wrong. I'm starting to question myself. Is it me? See, here's the thing. If he actually wanted to do a quote-unquote test, which I still highly recommend against because it's fucking stupid, if he actually wanted to test his girlfriend to see if she would jump to conclusions, don't phrase the message as, "Last night was amazing, hope your girlfriend didn't notice." Instead, maybe phrase it as, "Dinner last night was great, hope to see you again sometime!" Because including the mention of girlfriend and a kissy face emoji most certainly implies cheating. And just overall, by the way, relationship tests are stupid. All they do is erode trust you have in your partner. In the process of testing your partner to see if they trust you, you are inevitably going to destroy that trust. It's stupid. And that's, of course, assuming that he is actually doing a relationship test and didn't just think of that excuse on the fly in order to get his girlfriend off of his back because he is in fact cheating. Because honestly, it is absurd for him to state, "If you really trust me, you wouldn't have jumped to conclusions," after seeing the following text message. "Last night was amazing, hope your girlfriend didn't notice. Kissy emoji." What are you supposed to take from that? The thing is, OP is 100% right. It is emotional manipulation and not a trust experiment. OP's, potentially ex, boyfriend is pretty goddamn lucky she actually asked him about it and, wanted to get his side of things. That alone should be considered her passing the trust experiment because she at least trusted him enough to ask him, "What the fuck is this on your phone?" But what really sells to me the idea that he might have actually just been caught cheating and just thought of this on the fly is that final line of, "We may not be compatible long term because you can't understand my sense of humor." But he got fucking caught. thought of something on the fly and is now giving himself the ticket out. That's my opinion. That's my tinfoil hat. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole. Am I the asshole for not responding when someone doesn't use my actual name? My, 16 male, name is Nico, and it's not short for anything. On my birth certificate, it says Nico, middle name, last name. This is something a few people can't understand, and some people call me Nicholas. Even teachers who see me on the class list as Nico and not Nicholas. I'm a foster kid. I've been in the system since I was 2. My mom is the only bio family I know, but she's not able to take care of me. I see her twice a year through court-ordered visits. But nobody in her family and I don't have anything to do with my paternal side. I've been with my current foster family for 3 years, and I'm really happy with my foster parents and foster siblings. My foster parents actually want to help the kids they foster, and their kids are cool with their parents fostering, and don't bully me or others for stealing their families. So I hope I get to stay until I age out of the system. My only problem is some of their extended family are snobs, and they don't like calling me Nico. So they call me Nicholas, even after being corrected a million times. My foster parents have explained that my name is actually Nico, not Nicholas. But the reply is always, "But Nico is short for Nicholas." A couple of the extended family have encouraged me to change my name because Nicholas sounds much more professional for an adult male, which I will soon be. I was like, no thanks. My foster parents told me I should ignore whenever someone calls me Nicholas now, unless they're new and just assume. But I could ignore their family members who do it. So that's what I did. I've ignored them a handful of times now, and it bothers them so much. Yesterday, it happened twice because one kept trying to call Nicholas over, and I just didn't go. The other asked Nicholas to pass the potatoes at dinner, and I kept eating and didn't pass anything. I was then called out for ignoring them, and my foster parents said nobody knew who they were talking to because there was no Nicholas at the table. One of my foster sisters said she assumed it was her, Nicole, and they got confused, and that's why she passed it instead. I was told I should be more open to the wisdom others offer with name suggestions and stop being rude by ignoring people, even though my foster parents back me up again. It made me feel away because this family is my best foster experience, and I don't want to piss people off in my foster family. So, am I the asshole? That's the consequences of them not listening to your foster parents. Like, they've probably been told numerous times that your name's not Nicholas, it's Nico. And you don't just have your foster parents backing you up, you also have your foster siblings going to bat for you. Like, that entire family unit that you have in the foster system is ready to swing for you. That's pretty fucking cool. And it actually warms my heart to hear an actual positive foster experience. If your foster family is giving you the green light and swinging for you, you don't have to worry about rocking the boat. They are firmly by your side and respecting the fact that that is not your name, and your name is Nico. What they're doing is incredibly disrespectful towards you, and you shouldn't feel like you need to curtail or bow down to them just because they feel like calling you Nicholas is more professional, and it's what a young man should strive to be. Honestly, maybe they should strive to be more respectful and more polite, and actually be kind for once. That's a thought. Cross-posted from r/relationship advice. I, male 25, ruined my best relationship because I can't get over my first ex-girlfriend. Female 24. Hi Reddit. General information to this would be, I met my recent ex-girlfriend about 4 years ago. We started dating in 2020. Let's call her Maya, fake name. It's been the best relationship I've been in so far. She provided for me, cared, and reassured me. Overall, the most important thing to me was she allowed me to be sensitive and vulnerable, something I have never been able to do in any previous relationship. If words could grow a garden, I'd have an entire tulip field if it came to describing her as a person. Overall, the most beautiful soul that has ever crossed my path. She is truly the light of my life. But for some reason, I haven't been able to get over my very first high school ex-girlfriend. I don't know if it was the tumultuous nature of the relationship that left me with extremely confusing feelings. I was not loyal in that relationship, which resulted in 6 to 7 years of being on and off. I'm not proud of my infidelity, and that person is no longer who I am today. I can't seem to get over her, even if I know Maya is my first love and the one I would kill for. Before anybody says anything, I have never cheated on Maya. That thought never crossed my mind. Maya has caught me searching for their socials various times throughout our relationship. I never meant any harm by it. I get curious, but I know it was hurting Maya. I had done this one last time, which resulted in Maya breaking things off with me about a month ago. We've been no contact for 4 to 5 weeks now. I miss her so much. Her daily routine was so intertwined with mine. I was okay for the first week or two, but the third week hit, and I haven't been able to control my emotions. I'm not here to receive any scolding, as I'm doing that to myself. I truly want advice to help me through this. I know Maya is the one I want, and it pains me that I ruined this. She's blocked me on everything. What will help me move on from my high school ex-girlfriend? Why can't I? This is probably the most important part of this, but definitely not what OP wants to hear. Your relationship with Maya is more than likely toast. Because while you went on talking about how great she was to you and how much you care for her, from her perspective, she was probably feeling like she was never enough. Because rather than living in a happy relationship with you, she caught you, presumably numerous times, stalking your high school ex on social media. She probably has been spending a lot of time feeling like she will never be enough for you, or that you don't actually care for her, that you're settling. And that's more than likely why she's left you, is because of that feeling. And there's not really a way that you can recover it, because even after she caught you searching through her social medias, even with you understanding that it hurt her, you still continued to do this. I'm hammering this home because the end of your post wasn't about the fact that you're willing to move on from Maya. It was specifically more focused on you trying to move on from your high school ex-girlfriend. And my guess would be is it probably has something to do with lack of closure or guilt. And you'll probably need to go to therapy for both that high school ex and now Maya. I hope you'll be able to take accountability and move on from this and understand that you're probably not going to get Maya back. And that's just the truth of it here. My boyfriend's girl best friend ruined our relationship. Or did I? Hi lovelies, I need some advice. I know this sounds cliche, but I feel like my boyfriend's girl best friend wanted me out of the picture, and it worked. This happened years ago, so I adjusted the ages to when it happened. I, 21 female, was dating Steve, 26 male, for almost 1 year. We met during COVID, so I didn't meet many of his friends at first. Eventually, I was introduced to his best friend Sabrina, 26 female. They'd known each other since high school, and she was his first love. They even lost their virginity to each other and made a silly, if we're still single at 30, marriage pact. Steve told me all this before we met, and though it bugged me a little, I chalked it up to young love. We met up with Sabrina and her new boyfriend, Motty, 28 male. She was fun, outgoing, and honestly super likable. I saw why Steve kept her in his life. She made me feel welcome and even offered us a ride home after dinner. We continued hanging out that night, and she seemed to give Steve a thumbs up about me. I thought she might become my friend too. Weeks later, Motty left for work in another city, and Sabrina mentioned feeling lonely. One night, when I had friends over, mostly male, I invited Sabrina as well. She came, drank, and got hit on by one of my guy friends, which Steve helped defuse. I got pretty drunk and ended up fighting with Steve, which Sabrina witnessed. When I was alone with her, I opened up about a lot. Probably too much. I told her that I had struggled with Steve's past with her, that I found it hard to trust female friends, and that I had cheated on Steve before. I also confessed a dark moment from before Steve and I were official, doing drugs and hooking up with multiple guys, one of whom was at our place that night. I told her not to say anything. Steve already knew parts of it, but didn't want it talked about. She said she understood and promised to keep everything between us. But I'm 90% sure she told him everything when they went to pick up pizza. When they returned, Steve went cold. That night, she got drunk and Steve wouldn't let her drive. He told her to sleep in bed with me while he took the couch. The next day seemed normal. Weeks passed without Steve mentioning that night. Then, Steve got injured at work. He couldn't reach me. My phone was in my locker. So, he called Sabrina, who picked him up and brought him home. When I got back, he exploded. All the things I told Sabrina came out. He said he couldn't trust me, that I wasn't there for him when he needed me most, and decided he needed space. The next day, Sabrina came to help him move out. I texted her, accused her of ruining my life. Was this her plan? Was she never over him? Did she pretend to be my friend just to get close enough to sabotage our relationship? Steve has blocked me, and so has she. I blocked them both too. But I'm heartbroken and confused. Reddit, do you think there's any way I can get him back, or did I sabotage everything myself? Update. I have read all the comments. I want to clear some things up. I cheated, yes, but I felt extremely insecure when he started talking to his ex. And when I got to meet her, she turned out to be the opposite of what I was expecting. I thought I would be able to hate her. I know it was immature of me to cheat and blame her. I should have kept my mouth shut. She's his friend at the end of the day. When I saw him last week, all the emotions came flooding back. I know I need to go to therapy and figure out why I couldn't blame myself. I understand what I have done wrong, and Sabrina was not in the wrong. I hope you all understand I was extremely hurt and wanted a bad guy for my relationship ending. Clearly, there was no bad guy. I was the bad person in the relationship. I would like to think Sabrina ended my relationship, but I did. I need to stop looking at their social media and move on from this, even though it's hard. Thank you to everyone for hitting me with the harsh truth. I'll learn to keep my mouth shut and legs closed. I feel like the previous OP could learn a thing or two from this OP. Let's just hope that their moment of growth isn't just for show for Reddit and they actually pursue that and grow and become a better person down the line. Best of luck, OP, and I do hope that you take going to therapy seriously and actually spend that time that you stated you would bettering yourself. See, OP could have doubled down. They could have taken the approach where the problem isn't the fact they cheated, the problem is Sabrina broke the girl code by blabbermouthing. But no. OP took the criticisms, the realizations, and the need for growth on the chest, accepted the judgment of everyone else, and hopefully will learn to grow. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole. Am I the asshole for initially not believing my son when he said he was sick? I'm a 48-year-old single mom to 2 kids. We'll call them Rachel and Vic. Rachel recently turned 18 and she has a lot of chronic health issues she's been struggling with since she was little. We've been blessed that she has a lot of good periods, but right now she's having some trouble, likely due to the stress of next year's graduation and all that entails. I've been kept pretty busy making sure she stays as healthy as possible. I think Vic has always resented the extra attention his sister receives, which is understandable. I've always tried my best to make sure he has special time devoted to him, but I'd be lying if I said Rachel's health hasn't taken precedence over everything else. About a month ago, we had the good news that Vic will likely be graduating early due to academic excellence. I was so happy and congratulated him, but I noticed that since then, his behavior seemed to be worse. He was more moody, short with me, not eating meals I made. Last week, I took Rachel to the doctors over a sinus issue. While we were there, Vic called from school saying he was in a lot of pain and could I take him home early. I told him he knew I was at the doctor with Rachel. He got pissy and said some not so nice things about me favoring her. I'll admit, I jumped to conclusions and thought that this, combined with his other bad behavior, meant he was just trying to get attention, since his early graduation news hadn't given him enough. I told him because of his attitude I wasn't picking him up early at all. And after Rachel's doctor visit was over, I went to work as usual. When I got home, everything seemed normal, but when I called the kids down for dinner, Vic didn't come. When I checked his room, I quickly realized he's genuinely sick. I immediately rushed him to the doctors and apologized profusely to him for not believing him initially. I tried to explain that his behavior recently is why I assumed he just wanted attention. He said if it was Rachel, I wouldn't have made that assumption, though I assured him this wasn't true. Since then, he hasn't really talked to me. Was I really being the asshole? I think I made an honest mistake and corrected it as soon as I found out things were serious. Thankfully, OP's comments were archived by others because they were since removed. Helpful replacement 28 comments. The deleted comments with 2,000 downvotes. I need to know. Bad Bandit 1970 responds, recovered with Arctic Shift. Thank you. I understand I fucked up massively, and I'm not taking the situation lightly at all. I know our relationship may be strained for a while, but I'd be an idiot if I didn't at least try to make things up to him and be a better parent. Strained for a while? Oh no, honey, you fucking napalmed it. Well, obviously, if he'd just been pretending to be sick, I would have a serious sit-down talk with him. But for what it's worth, it was a genuine issue. he had a stomach ulcer, which is why I apologized to him and still feel bad, especially after reading the comments here. How very big of her to apologize to him. He calls you from school, miserable and in pain, pleading to come home, and then she just fucks off to work without as so much as a courtesy text asking him how he's doing. Where did I place the blame on him? While I did initially jump to conclusions that he just wanted attention because of his attitude, I acknowledge that was my mistake, not his. Pretty much in your post, OP, and I quote, "I'll admit I jumped to conclusions and thought that this, combined with his other bad behavior, meant he was just trying to get attention. I appreciate your understanding. Perhaps you're right that I wouldn't have made the assumption about Rachel. I like to think I would treat my two kids the same, but I could just be in denial. Again, thank you for your comment. I have a lot to think about." Obviously, she doesn't. Usually resentment like Vic's doesn't just happen overnight. It builds up. Wonder how many things of Vic's she blew off because of Rachel. So the kid's attention was pretty much put into the shadows of his chronically ill sister, which is understandable, but even when getting something as massive as graduating early due to academic excellence at the age of 16, the age was found in the comments, she self-admitted that she thought that he's acting up because he didn't get enough attention. That was her first draw to conclusion on that, meaning that deep down she felt she wasn't giving her son enough attention, when in reality he was probably acting out and not eating meals because he had a stomach ulcer. He was in a shit ton of pain. Stomach ulcers aren't fun. I had them as a kid. Like, she actively dismissed her son's quite literal cry for help because of how much pain they were in and just took it as, "Oh, you're just doing this for attention because I give Rachel too much attention. And I didn't give you enough attention when you found out you were graduating early. So you must just be acting out for the sake of acting out." Does he have a history of doing this? Or did you just assume this from the get-go? But no matter what, yeah, the consequences of not taking your son seriously when he had a stomach ulcer is the fact of, like, he's probably going to be less inclined to have a conversation with you and just feel more validated with the fact that you give Rachel special treatment and special amounts of attention. That's up to you to fix and prove wrong. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole. Am I the asshole making my girlfriend cut off her new male friend because she made me cut off a female friend? A couple of years back, I made friends with a new coworker. She was pretty cool. Now, my girlfriend at first did not have a problem with this, but she got uncomfortable with how much time my new friend and I spent on gaming. Admittedly, it was a bit much. My girlfriend did straight up and told me she would not continue this if I continue this friendship. Honestly, looking back, I kind of regret it, but whatever. Recently, my girlfriend met a new guy friend, and this friendship has made me uncomfortable. They don't hang alone, as far as I know, but they do drink together, which makes me uncomfortable. So, I told my girlfriend this, and she tried to reassure me, but this didn't change my feelings. I did bring up what she told me years ago, and my old female friend. She told me she was very sorry for what she did. She told me that our relationship was still pretty new, and that she didn't fully trust me back then. She told me that if this happened today, she wouldn't have asked me to cut off this friendship. FYI, I couldn't get in touch with my old coworker even if I tried, so that friendship is gone forever. I told my girlfriend, fine, but regardless if she wants me to stick around, she needs to cut off that friendship. I told her it's extremely messed up for her to claim she had changed her mind when she had to make a sacrifice. I told her I wanted to believe her, but she had to prove to me that she's not just saying this just because. She did agree to this half-heartedly. I don't know. I'd have never given her an ultimatum like this, and it felt wrong, to be honest. This is messy, and I'm not sure if you two should be together. Like, she's the one who set the precedent very early on, that if you have a friend that I'm uncomfortable with, you have to drop them. Couple years later, she's no longer willing to go through with that because, now she's the one who has to make sacrifices. However, I do have to ask the question, is OP doing this entirely out of spite because of the friendship that was soiled years ago? Personally, I'm in the boat where I just don't think these two should be together because there is clearly some unhealthy, lasting resentment here. I can't blame OP for feeling that resentment in the slightest, by the way. I just wonder how much of this is an actual concern and how much of this is being petty. Because to compare the two instances, one was playing an excessive amount of video games and one is going to the bar and getting drinks with the guy. I'd be curious to hear what you all think. Do you think the time scale matters in this situation, or do you think that's irrelevant? And the fact alone of they're asking each other to cut relationships off is the main problem here. For those of you who can, and aren't on Spotify or Apple Music and instead watching on the YouTube channel, let me know what you think and where you stand on this.
Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code OZ at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.